Hey everybody, this is Tony, and I'm here today with a special guest, none other than Miss Melanie Penn. How you doing today?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing just fine. Thank you for asking. And how's this quarantine been treating you?
Well, it has been up and down. I would say I'm now officially in the stage where I want it to be done. I've reached the ceiling of the quarantine.
Listen, I totally understand. I
Yeah.
think I'm right about there with you.
Yeah.
Oh man, but I do want to talk about some great things that are happening besides the quarantine, like your latest album, More Alive Volume One. Now, where'd you get the title from?
Well, there's a song on the album called More Alive,
Yeah.
and that phrase just kind of organically came about with the song. The idea, I'm very conscious of getting older.
Okay.
And so the song More Alive is about how as you get older, you become more alive, not less.
Right.
And it just kind of stuck with me, the whole concept and the phrase together, more alive. And it just seemed like it should be the title of the album. But, I titled the album pre-pandemic. Like
Mm-hmm.
I knew I was making an album. I finished it during the quarantine, obviously. But, now the phrase more alive seems to have a lot of meaning for us because we've been talking about a lot of like serious, suffering and illness this year. So the idea that we can be more alive during a time like this seems really important.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And you know what? I think music like this is really needed for a time, such as this, because it's very inspirational and uplifting. Songs like Grace were very, they stuck out to me. And when one door closes, it's a lot. But I love your voice, though. I really have to tell you that I do love your voice. So what is your inspiration for music? Period. What makes you just get up and say, "I want to sing, I want to write, I want to be an artist"? What makes you say that?
That's a good question. I've always sung. So in a way I was set on the path very early on as a child. And I didn't start writing songs though until later in my life. So
Okay.
for me, writing songs is really a way to sing. Like
Okay.
just being able to sing, like the vibration and the sensation of singing is so important to me. I kind of learned to write songs as a way to support that. I think a lot of people write songs and then they are like, oh, I have to learn how to sing because I really enjoy writing songs. But I was kind of the opposite.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense, though. And of course, this isn't your first project. It's I think it's your sixth project or somewhere around
Fifth.
there.
Fifth.
Okay. Okay. So your fifth. So what is different about this project than your last four projects?
I think, well, obviously some of it was written, like half of it was written in the quarantine.
Yeah.
So in some ways it's different because it was written out of such a time of crisis, like communal
Hmm.
crisis. And my producer and I recorded the new songs in a way we've never worked together before. So we were in the studio, the two of us, and then
Hmm.
everyone else was remote. So technically it's very different from my other albums. But then in terms of like the style, I think I'm just leaning into like a way poppier style. Like that's just what I wanted to do. Like I
Right.
call them hopeful anthems, like hopeful pop, you know, like I just wanted to go after that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but it works though, and hopefully a lot of people really pick up on the messages and really pick up on the sound. The type of church that I go to, honestly, they would play a lot of these songs. So I think you really have
Awesome.
something special. So, is there something, or is there a song or some songs that stick out to you on the album in particular that have a special place for you?
Yeah. You're Not Absent, which is the first song,
Yeah.
will, it's a song about God always being present with us in suffering. And that is a timeless idea. But
Right.
for me, I think it will always represent our time in quarantine because it really came out of like the loneliness of the quarantine, being like, well, even when no one's around, like God is not absent. So
Absolutely.
it will always represent that. And And then I think One Word is another song. And again, I wrote it in the quarantine, and it's just like a groovy pop song about Jesus calming the storm.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that song for the time that we're in, because in many ways we're in the storm.
Absolutely.
But like when Jesus calms the storm, like after Jesus and the disciples get to the other side, like they get to the shore, and then they do all these beautiful things. Like they do all these miracles and healings, and people get delivered. So I like to think that like we're in the storm right now, because on the other side, all these amazing things are going to happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what makes you what made you started singing Christian music or spiritual music, as opposed to singing, you know, anything? Because you really have a voice. You can sing anything, really.
Oh, anything, Tony? Anything? I really struggled with that when I started writing songs and making albums. Like, was I going to try to do like top 40 music or do Christian music? I just naturally fell into Christian music because that's what was coming out.
Okay.
Like, it wasn't strategic. Like, there was nothing strategic about it. It was more like what I was naturally singing about was my faith-based worldview and like how I was experiencing life because of my faith.
Right.
So, and then over the years, as people have found me and become fans, like it's been a lot of Christians or people who are kind of checking it out.
Oh, wait. Okay, there you go.
Did you lose me a little bit?
Yeah.
Was that my fault? Is something happening on my end?
I don't know. I don't think so. I hope not.
Okay.
But you okay? Go ahead.
Yeah. No, that's it. Just over the years, the people who have found my music tend to be either, you know, Christian music fans or people who love music, and they're also maybe gravitating toward more spiritual material and they don't know why.
Okay. So who are some artists that you would say inspired you musically?
I definitely think, you know, singers and songwriters from the 60s and 70s, like singers like Judy Collins.
Oh, yeah.
And Joan Baez, like these beautiful, pure female voices. And then there's women like Amy Grant and Nicole Nordeman who have like forged a path in Christian singer-songwriter music. Like that is like separate from worship.
Right.
Because I think it's real two separate art forms to write worship songs and then like write pop songs. And I don't tend to write a lot of worship music. Right.
I mean, and I definitely think I have to agree with you on that. Even Aisha, who I just did an interview with the few weeks back. My mind is off today, so forgive me for time frame.
You're perfect.
But you know, even when I was speaking with her and I was telling her, you know, even the songs that she do aren't necessarily, or songs don't necessarily have to be Christian to be inspirational. And, you know, an inspirational song can mean God to me without even saying God, you know?
Yeah.
So it definitely is a different art form. So I definitely have to agree with you on that. Would you say making this album, or the process for making this album has been one of the highlights for you? And maybe not in a good way, but just a highlight, period.
Well, it's definitely kind of saved me. Okay. You know, I mean, I say that in quotes. I just mean like so much has been taken away this year. Like, I don't know what your experience has been through coronavirus, through the pandemic, but for performing arts, this has been like a really devastating time. So yes. Like so much of what I feel is my contribution and my work and being productive kind of went away. And the fact that I was still able to record music and put it out there helped me feel like, okay, I still have a purpose. I still have a role to play. I might not be playing any shows and traveling, but I can still really do something meaningful in music. Mm-hmm. So in another year, I think making an album would have been just like one slot in a lot of things that I'm doing. But
Right.
this year it was like, okay, let's just record some new songs and put out an album.
Well, I'm definitely glad that you did, and I'm sure that a lot of people will feel that way if they haven't already. Hopefully, they go and pick up the album or either stream it. But with a album and a time like this, of course, like you said, we're going through a lot. So when you go through hard times or when you feel discouraged or doubt, I would say, I don't want to say discouraged so much. Do you listen to yourself or who do you listen to?
Oh, good question. Like, do I put on my own songs and I'm like, oh, this is good. I feel better. Gosh, that's such a good question. In the writing process, I definitely listen to myself. So I will write a song because it's the song that I need. Mm-hmm. But then after the song is finished, I don't know if it's something like, I don't know if I like listen to myself that much,
Okay.
But like I'm really into Justin Bieber right now, and like the work that Justin Bieber is doing with Chance the Rapper. I'm like so encouraged. I've listened to his new single. I went on a walk today and listened to his new single like 10 times. And I don't do that with my own songs. Like I don't play my own songs on repeat. That's like a special thing that I, do with other artists.
Okay. That makes sense though. I always say I don't listen to my own interviews either, so it makes sense.
Okay.
When I edit them, I listen to them then, but after that, somebody might come back and say, you said this at this time stamp, and I'm like, okay, I don't even know what I said because I don't listen to it.
And is that because you're like letting it go? Is that because you're just kind of like, you're launching it and then it's on its own? That's
part of the reason, but the other part is I don't know. I don't like really hearing myself sometimes because it's like, we are our own worst critic a lot of times. So
yeah.
I think a lot of times when I listen to it, I'm like, oh, you could have asked this or you should have done that. Or, so I do that a lot. And then even when the person whom I'm interviewing say, I had a great time, it was great, I still do that because I'm just like, it's a self thing that, I want to be better on. So I normally say, okay, you could have done this better. You could have done that. So I say, you know what? Let me not watch it. I'll go watch somebody else do an interview and we'll just move on. Yeah.
I relate to a lot of that.
Yeah, it's crazy, but it happens. I think I just finally watched one of my own probably last week for the first time in I don't know how long, a long time. So.
And what was the verdict?
It was all right. Okay. I did not do a lot of self-critiquing actually this time. So I think I'm getting better.
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe you're getting a little nicer to yourself too. Like it's both. Like you're getting better and you're showing more grace for yourself. Because I'm definitely growing in that area. I'm just like, I'll look back on something I did and be like, that was great. Like, I don't need to tear that apart. Like, how amazing that I got to do that. And God is so awesome to even open the door in that way.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. God has been, providing and making things happen that I thought I would never see. So absolutely. I am grateful every single day, just like I am for you being here, just to even have this conversation. I promise you. So he really is a miracle worker. I'll say that.
He is.
Oh man. So what are you looking forward to now from this point with the album?
I am looking forward to eventually being able to tour it. And I'm hoping in 2021 that will come to pass, even if it's like a more modest level. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we'll still be like socially distancing and everything next year. That's all TBD. So I'm looking forward to eventually like playing all the songs live for people in person. And believe it or not, I head back into the studio in November. I'll be in the studio all November, like working on the next project. So next year potentially could be like a lot going on, like another kind of flagship album, and hopefully getting back out on the road in some way.
Okay, sounds good. So let me ask you this then. If, the virus had not come, like normally, what would your schedule be as far as, you recording actual music? So do you normally just record that fast?
I can't make a whole album in a month.
Right.
Like a whole album probably takes 3 to 4 months of like,
Okay.
and it's staggered, you know?
Hmm.
But if it were not the pandemic, I think my schedule would be performing as much as I can, traveling as much as I can, and then in the breaks, writing and recording. So really being in one place is kind of new, but it's been good. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we're going to be unpacking this experience for a long time. I mean, have you felt like, were you before the pandemic someone who was always kind of like bustling around and like traveling a lot, and has your rhythm changed in that way?
It has in a way, and it hasn't. The reason I say it has is because, like, for instance, um, I do these interviews, of course, too, but then I still work a regular job as well. So that normally took up a lot of my time, and then, anything else that I was doing. So I was just pretty much in a rhythm almost as far as doing things. So now this has really brought me to a different place because I'm doing a lot of more of these interviews now. I'm working from home now. So things have definitely changed for me. I think it has been more of a blessing for me, to be honest with you, than it has hurt me. Of course, I had family members who have been affected by it. Thankfully, most of them have recovered.
Yeah.
But so it has been more of a blessing to me. I just thank God for what He is doing for both of us, really, and for what He is about to do, hopefully.
That's right.
In this next season. So we'll see. But yeah, it has been an adjustment, I'll just say.
But what you say is interesting because I have a lot of friends who have enjoyed the quarantine a lot.
Yeah.
And who almost feel like when life ever gets back to normal, we don't know exactly what that means, but
Right.
they want to keep some of these changes, like the way they have slowed down and the way maybe they're with their families more, or they're at home more, less time commuting or whatever it is. They want to keep that modification. Yeah. So it's interesting. There's like so many different experiences going on. Like some people are really suffering. Some people are really flourishing. Like some people like it. Some people don't.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're all going to have to figure this out together as it kind of ends, how we handle it with one another,
Yeah, that's true. Because just like you said, it's like a double-edged sword in a sense. Because just like you said, for artists, you can't tour right now, and I know a lot of artists are saying, that's my home. That's what I'm used to. So
yeah.
I understand. Trust me, I've heard that line probably about 15 times.
Yeah,
over.
I'm sure.
So it really is, like a double-edged sword, because like I said, for me, it has been in ways good, because I even get to talk to people like you and other artists and different people. So maybe if the quarantine hadn't happened, I probably wouldn't have had that chance. So we don't know.
Yeah.
But I definitely hope that we can move past this soon. And, those who are suffering, I really pray that they can, come to some kind of point that it won't have to be that,
Yes.
Yes. And whatever that may be. But, I definitely thank God for all that He's done and the healing that He's done as well. We can't deny that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So, yeah, I mean, it's just, we just have to take it one day at a time. Yeah. And we really have to, I think this time is really a time of reflection. And, for those who don't know, to find out who they are, to be around your family, or if that is what's going on, or find a new skill, or perfect a skill that you already have, or, it's just different things. So, even for you, writing music, so it's just many different things right about now. But I hope that most of the people really take the time to try to bring something positive out of this with them.
Yes. I think that's absolutely right.
Yeah, I really do, because that's really the main thing for me. When this first happened, that's really something that I said, and that's something I set out to do. So I hope everyone tries to do that, especially in this crazy time now. And then we got an election coming up and different things. It's just a crazy time. So
Yeah, it is.
I hope we just buckle down and say, you know what is it that God is asking me to do in this moment and in time? And what is it that I can do to better myself that will help me in the long run?
Yeah, that's so right. You know, it's important even to like keep your eyes, like not in a self-centered way, but like keep your eyes focused on like your own life, like the things that you can
Right.
control in your life, while everything else is like so chaotic and feels so out of control.
Exactly. Because you know, before this happened, many people, like I said, they were in a cycle too. You know, maybe not the same one as me, but it was normally a constant thing, and you normally get used to doing something at a certain time on a certain day.
Yeah.
And that kind of has slowed down now, and it's like, okay, let me take a look around. Let me see what is it that I missed, or what I need to pick up on, or what I need to, you know. It's just so many things now.
Yes.
So I think that is really the takeaway on this. But I do thank you so much for your blessing, which is your voice, and putting this album out. And where can people pick up the album or stream it rather?
Yeah, I mean, online, it's at all the online places. So Spotify, Apple Music, like all the digital platforms. And then we did print physical CDs. They're available at melaniepenn.com. Really beautiful packaging with a booklet and everything. We'll press some vinyl next year, but we didn't get there yet.
Okay.
And that's it. I just hope people really love it. And, you know, it's definitely meant to be a counter narrative to what we've been told this year. You know, all of the messages this year have been like, you might get sick, stay home, like be afraid, you know, things are terrible. Like there hasn't been a lot of, you know, and I understand that, but there hasn't been a lot of redemption in the message.
Right.
Like the world is not going to offer us any message of redemption in all of these trials. And so I hope to offer something that's a counter narrative to the message that we've kind of been overwhelmed with this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that you have definitely hit it on the mark with this. Like I said, I was listening to the album earlier, and some of these songs I really just had to pause on because, you know, it's really, I really would have to be in a praise and worship in my own, you know, zone, basically, not at church, but, you know, so I really do thank you because you have really given songs of hope and inspiration, I would say. So I really hope that people, like I said earlier, pick up on this and really, truly support these messages that you're putting out.
Me too.
And also, before you go, though, just let everybody know where they can find you on your social media handles, website, all of that good stuff.
Yeah, so Instagram is a great way for me to talk with people. It's at Melanie Penn, MELANIE, and then Penn, like Penn Station. It's just my name. And I also have a YouTube channel, and my website is melaniepenn.com. So that's it. I don't have a lot of like TikTok, Twitch, Twitter. Like I'm all over the place.
No, don't worry. I don't have it either. I just watch. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I can't do it all. It's too much.
Nobody can.
The same thing. So no worries. But yes, everybody, I definitely hope you go out and purchase the album, stream the album. More Live Volume 1 is online and it's ready to be listened to right now. So make sure you guys go out and support, please. And of course, this is none other than Miss Melanie Penn. And thank you so much again for doing this. Thank you so much. So good to talk with you. Of course. And we got to catch back up soon when you do another project. So you just come back and next year we'll do it again. Okay. We got to debrief next year. Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much again. And you have a great day. Okay.